Hi everybody and welcome back to SDI Coffee Break, and actually we've got a coffee this time, Mauricio, which is brilliant. And I don't know, I don't know if hopefully the guys who are watching have been following this series up until now. We've got Dr. Mauricio Corona with us, and we're talking about ITIL4 and the changes. Some brilliant stuff so far, Mauricio. One thing I think I'd like to touch on, we talked about the service value system. I think SVS, which is it's going to become a very popular acronym, can't even say it, one of them, over the next goodness knows how many years. And part of that, I think, we talked about some of the guiding principles.
Yes.
And you know, if you've had a chance to go through a practitioner or had a little look online, there's some really cool things. I think they're really interesting. But I'd like to maybe talk about what they are in relation to ITIL and how they'll help maybe organisations adopt maybe ITIL4 more productively, if that makes sense.
Yes, that's right. Yes, absolutely. Well, if you remember when we published the ITIL practitioner book and the exam and those stuff, Axelos already identified a couple of years ago that there were some there were a missing part, and this part it was like, well, how can we effectively guide organizations who are struggling right now with getting the right maturity for every single process that is considered in ITIL4 or 2011 edition. And then it came this book, and this book was really nice effort, but I think that there were some missing parts, like example, first of all, specifically define what a guiding principle is.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it's an IT guiding principle or any other discipline. What a guiding principle is. So we start the discussions on the architecture table, and we finalize with considering that a guiding principle is a recommendation that will guide an organization in any kind of circumstances. So it doesn't matter if they want to achieve some specific goal or some generic goal, several strategies. Of course, every single organization has a different type of work, or even they have a management structure. Every single organization is handling their own. So a guiding principle should be universal and should be consistent, and will allow organizations to succeed. So once that we have this definition, then we start reviewing, well, which ITIL guiding principles are fitting well, and which maybe we can just twist a little bit. And we started in the ITIL practitioner book with 9 ITIL guiding principles, and now we have 7. We didn't miss we didn't dismiss anyone. We just reconfigure the way they are named and how they should be applied. And we finished with 7, David, that maybe you can discuss or put more detail on one. But for example, it's going to be the first one is focus on value. We have been talking on previous recordings about this. The second one will be start where you are. On the other side, we have progress iteratively and get feedback. Always get feedback and start with iterations. Do not try to do everything at once. The other one will be collaborate and promote always visibility, because that was some of the main things that we saw. A lot of organizations are achieving great stuff, but they are not promoting visibility. So that's a very important guiding principle as well. The 6th one will be think and work holistically, and the last one is keep it simple and practical.
That's really interesting, Mauricio. And I think what I'd love to, again, I suppose if you look at guiding principles, it depends on the organization, again, how they adopt them. So is there going to be any additional sort of support on considerations on how to adopt some of this stuff?
I think that what I did when I started doing some exercise, really the guiding principles will help me. So what I have been doing lately, since we have that discussion in London, I came back and went to see a couple of organizations in Central and South America, and they were struggling with specific issues. And then I said, well, okay, let's try to think on the ITIL guiding principle side.
Yeah.
And then I was impressed every single time that we were stuck in the middle of something and we do not know, well, how can we move forward? I said, okay, let's stop. Let's bring the ITIL guiding principles. Does this apply? No. Oh, wow, this one is okay. Do not worry about everything. Just focus on this one. This is the main issue that we are having. So let's move forward. So it's really interesting, and it really complies with the definition that will help you regardless of any kind of situation that you are on which you are struggling. So it's very interesting, Dave. It's really nice.
It's funny, Mauricio, because I recently considered the practitioner guiding principles in relation to innovation, right? So I did something with, I think it was under a webinar or something, and I was looking for something to give some people to hold on to. Yeah. And I talked about, practitioner guiding principles, and you can translate those into any sort of facet of delivering service, which I think is really cool. It's something to go back to baseline. It's almost a baseline. Okay, let's stop. Let's go back. Let's look at it again, iteratively. I mean, I suppose as long as it's not going to stop organizations, because you've got to do it iteratively, or something like that, then I think they're very, very a really good way of trying to pull all that together, and it does give you, a really good. A way to reflect as you go through these things.
Yes,
but,
Sorry, it helped me, David. It was very interesting. I just had a question from developers about the ITIL stuff and how they relate. Then we arrived to discuss the Agile Manifesto, and after the Agile Manifesto, I said, okay, let's try to do some very quick exercise about how the ITIL guiding principles could be matched with the Agile Manifesto.
Yeah, cool. Yeah.
And I did a 5 minutes exercise, and I got a complete match. It's not one by one, of course. You can apply 3 ITIL guiding principles to one topic in the Agile Manifesto, and it was really interesting. And I saw that everything is integrated, and it makes sense. It doesn't matter if you are a developer, if you are on testing, if you are on DevOps, if you are on anything you want. So it's really interesting. And now you can see that every single proposal is complementary.
Yeah.
It complements each other, and it's really nice.
And do you know what's refreshing about that, Mauricio, is that if at the lowest level that these guiding principles are going to give us consistency of approach when we're trying to use these methodologies in teams and cross-functionally, it just gives us the opportunity to work together more effectively. Now, saying that, I think we'll come on to the next session. We'll maybe explore some of these a bit more and talk about what that means to continuous service improvement, or as ITIL4 is going to call it now, continual improvement. So we'll close on that one. Thank you again. I'm going to carry on my coffee. Maybe some of the guys are going back to work, you never know. But we'll carry on the next session. Thank you, Mauricio.
Thanks, Dave. Cheers.